I sat with my anger long enough until she told me her name was Grief. C.S. Lewis. For me, the grieving process began the day that I found out that my son was addicted to some pretty intense drugs. Okay? And it started out small, very small. And like I'm sure a lot of you, if not all of you, were at that very moment, I didn't see it. I didn't recognize it as grief because I was so hopeful that we had caught this thing in time and that we were going to be able to fix everything and things would just go back to normal. Okay? That was where my head was at on that very day. Little did I know that sitting in the pit of my stomach was this little ball of grief, okay? And every day that went by after that, this grew and grew and grew. And the more I watched him continue to destroy himself, continue to destroy his relationships with his family, okay? His siblings, us as his parents, his friends, which some of them, this just continued, and it started knotting up, okay? And I'm very visual, okay? If you're new, I talk with my hands, and I'm very visual when I'm talking. And I'm sorry, I try to keep something in my hands all the time so that, I keep them busy. But that's just how I am. But then one day came, and he was still here at home, and it came down to it came down to us laying hands on each other. I will say that. Okay? It was just he and I here. And it came down to us laying hands on each other. And I remember that day vividly. Because the next day, I couldn't get out of bed. Not because I was hurt or because I was sore or anything like that. It was because that grief just said, surprise, and it took over. I mean, it completely took over. Not only could I not get out of bed the next day, but for the next several days, I had trouble getting out of bed. I had trouble dealing with what had happened. You don't ever think that your child will ever lay their hands on you, okay? And when you're the person, I was always his verbal and physical and emotional punching bag, okay? Always. I was always the one that he went after the hardest when he's using. And that particular day, I had found his stash, and I confronted him about it, and the fight was on from there, okay? And I wound up flushing a whole bunch, and the next thing I know, we are out in our front yard, and things are being said, and he clocked me. He did. And yeah, it was on from there. So anyway, grief popped up and said, surprise, I'm here. I've always been here. And you're going to have to deal with me, or I'm just going to put you down. Okay? And, yeah. It took me a long time to realize that I was grieving for my child. He was still alive. He was still breathing. He was still on this earth. Okay? But I knew I would never see the child that I had before drugs again. Okay? It's over and done with. Now I'm dealing with an all new child. Okay? And he's different. He's totally different. This is not my child. This is not my child. My child was sweet. He had the biggest heart in the world. He would do anything for anybody. Super sensitive. When he was little and I was having to discipline him, which was very rare, okay? All I had to do was, raise my voice or clap my hands and say his name, and he would just burst into these big old tears, and, he knew. He was so sensitive, whereas, the others were like, yeah, let me test your limits, okay? He was never like that. He didn't lie. Like, if we ask him a question, did you do this? No, Mama. Okay, who did it? Well, it was, he did not lie. He did not. If he knew, he didn't lie about things. You could trust him to the ends of the earth and back. And as soon as drugs got a hold of him, that was gone. Gone. He was nothing but a liar and a thief and a manipulator. My child was gone, okay? And I grieved that child. I still grieve that child. I still miss that child. We all do. We all do. It doesn't matter what stage you're at in this. You're in some form of grief. You're dealing with that. We can't help but grieve our children. Okay? And honestly, I can't imagine losing my child to this epidemic. And I call it that, okay? I'm going to call it what it is. It's an epidemic. It is a planned epidemic. I am telling you at this point, it is a planned epidemic. Okay? It is. It is. But I can't imagine losing a child. Okay? I know how low I got grieving my son that is still walking this earth. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine losing my child to this and the grief taking me over. Okay? I cannot. And my heart goes out. Whew. It goes out to each and every one of you parents that have lost your child to this. It honestly does. Again, I can't imagine. I honestly can't. I've said before, one mother told me that she got a life sentence. The day her child passed, she got a life sentence. And I think about the meaning behind that and the grief that statement is coming from. And that's heartbreaking. That is true heartbreak right there. And I can't wrap my head around that. Okay? I still have issues 14 years later, okay? And I still have issues sometimes with wrapping my head around what I'm dealing with. Now, all this, the beginning of all of the grief and stuff, okay, it all came before Aiden was ever thought about, okay? It was, and it was dealt with swiftly. I knew I had to have help. I knew I could not carry that burden, okay? I had lost friends. I had lost family members. You know, my immediate family was cracking at the seams because, y'all, I was lashing out, okay? If anything was said in front of me or to me, or I caught a hint of it, I lashed out. If it was negative towards my son or towards my way of handling things or anything like that, I lashed out. Just shut up. I don't want to hear it. Just shut up. You know, did I push people out of my life? I probably did. I'm going to say yes, I did. Did it hurt to watch them walk away? At that point in time, no, it did not. I just wanted to cocoon myself, okay? I wanted to bubble wrap myself so that anything that was aimed at me at that point in time would just bounce off at me, okay? I couldn't take anymore. I could not. I was trying to figure things out. I was trying to deal with my own hurt, trying to deal with him, trying to deal with the crumbling of my family, okay? Because, sadly, I sat and watched one by one my other children just kind of trail off, okay? I did. I watched a divide appear and begin to get wider and wider and wider between Paps and I. To the point to where we talked divorce. We did. Both of us were grieving, okay? And neither one of us knew how to bring it back together and support each other, because at that point in time, we had differing opinions. We were not on the same page about how to handle things, okay? And we talked divorce. We did. We did. We were putting money out hand over fist. We were robbing from Peter to pay Paul. And eventually, Peter went broke. All in the name of just trying to hold on to the last shreds of our normal life. When I say normal life, that ended. That ended. I honestly, I'm not sure when it ended. Did it end the day he decided to do what he did? Did it end in those days where he became addicted and the changes were already in motion, but I didn't see them until one day? Or did it start that one day that my eyes were opened and it's like, holy shit, I'm the mom of a drug addict. Somewhere along the line, our normal just dropped off the face of the earth. And I'll be honest with you, 14 years later, our lives are nowhere near what they were 14 years ago. Okay? Nowhere near. Our relationships with people and with our other kids, they're different now. Okay? I don't want to say that we walk on eggshells, but we walk on eggshells, okay? We do. We do. Because we know what the cost of breaking those eggshells is going to be. We know this. We know it all too well. Okay? We've had some that have stuck by us no matter what, and I am grateful to those people. We have had some that have been absolute monsters to us. Okay? And it's like, I never saw that coming. I never saw that side of this person. And again, I'm 54 years old. You know, I had a couple that were lifelong friends of mine. For over 50 years, we were friends, okay? And I heard one of them say, well, at least my child's not a drug addict, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Grief is a tricky little shit, okay? It is sneaky, it is tricky, and it'll take you over quickly. Very quickly. And if I can give any advice on dealing with the grief, it is to seek help. Don't let it take you over. Y'all, I locked myself in my bedroom for weeks on end. Okay, and the only time I came out was to get food, something to drink, and to go to the bathroom. Okay, that was it. I didn't want anybody else to see me because I was grieving. I was embarrassed. I was all the other emotions that you're going through, they're going down the ladder. Grief is at the very top, for me anyway, okay? And again, this is my story. This is my story. This may not be for everybody, and that's all right. This is my story. But grief is at the very top of the totem pole, and the other ones are underneath it. Grief controls a lot of the other emotions for me. And I realized that early on. I did. I realized that early on. And then Aiden come along, you know. And I wasn't expecting to start over and, you know, be the mom of a newborn again. I wasn't expecting any of that. But woo, what a blessing that baby has been to us. He's just an amazing little boy. And I think that the man upstairs knew that I would take him and I would love him and I would protect him and I would show him the stability that he needs, and I would show him a world that he would not see otherwise. I honestly think that. I think that somebody knew that we needed each other. He was going to need me. I was going to need him. And what a blessing. What a blessing. I have some that ask, do you still grieve? Or does grief still rear its ugly head? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You know, I've got a 30-year-old child with the brain power of a 16-year-old kid. Okay? I do. I do. And as he's coming out of the usage and he's done the treatments and things like that. We talk on a daily basis. We do. And it's wonderful right now. And I'm soaking up every minute of it. But the more we talk and the further out he gets in his sobriety, the more I see that he's nowhere near 30 years old. He's not. He's just not. And that breaks my heart. So, yeah. Every now and then, grief sneaks back up. And it sneaks in. Okay? And it tries to make me believe that I'm not as far in this journey as I think I am, as far as healing is concerned. Okay? But I have to shut that down, and I have to shut that down quickly. Okay? I am so much better than I was even a couple of years ago. I am so much better than what I have been during these 14 years. Again, I'm 54 years old, and I don't know why, but the day that I turned 50, I woke up with the determination that I was going to heal past traumas, recent traumas, all the things. I was going to heal completely, okay? And I was going to find Missy again, because I had been beaten down so far. And then I threw all of my focus on raising Aiden, okay? And I do not regret 1 minute of that. And I never will. So do not take that out of context, okay? I threw myself into raising this beautiful little boy and into trying to repair some of the relationships with my children and with my husband and with what few others still stood around me. And y'all, I have been on this journey for 4 years now. I'm not done yet. I'm still working on me. Okay? I still am working on me. And right now, I am in a spot where I am trying to move past some massive trauma. And the comment that was made triggered that grief to sneak back in, okay? And this woman, she said, and I'm going to paraphrase this, okay? I think I pinned the comment. She paraphrased that, I wasn't doing enough, that I needed to pretty much come up with the money to give to my son to do this, and this, that I was being pretty much a shit mom and killing my son, allowing him to kill himself. And, I didn't care. When I tried to explain to this lady that, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this, we've maxed out credit cards, we've taken out loans, we have drained our life savings twice, we've done all the things, we have nothing left financially, okay? Nothing left financially. And her response was, well, then stop putting it out on YouTube. You're only doing this for ratings. You're only doing this for money. You don't care that you're killing your kid. You're doing this for you. That sent me into a tailspin. It did. And I took my phone to Paps and I said, here you go. What do I do with this? And I told him what I was feeling at the time. And he said, block and remove. Do not listen to stuff like that. Do not. You know you're a better mom than what she's trying to make you out to be. She doesn't know our situation. She doesn't know you personally. She doesn't know me personally. Who does she think she is? Block and ban. Be done with it. So, Shirley, I know you're watching. I'm going to guess you're watching. You can't comment, but you can still watch. Hope you're enjoying this. I guess what I'm trying to say with all of this, and I know some of this is just, I guess what I'm trying to say is we all go through grief, whether we think it's grief or whether we see it as anger or sadness or whatever. It's grief. It's grief. We are grieving the loss of our child, the loss of our normal lives, the loss of ourselves in all of this, because we do lose ourselves to an extent. We become, instead of being Missy, okay, I became Missy, the mom of an addict, who everybody wanted to shun and talk about, and I was embarrassed and hurt and all the things. You grieve the whole thing because it's a loss. It's a loss. No matter how you put it, it's a loss. Okay? It is. So if you're suffering through this, reach out. Okay? We have weekly chats and check-ins, and today, this is Wednesday, is actually our first midweek chat and check-in. We're going to start doing it on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and then we do it on Sunday evenings at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and I would love for y'all to join us. Y'all, we have a remarkable community that we're building here. Okay? It's just amazing. And there are a lot of moms and dads that are willing to support and love you no matter what. We're all going through it, and it sucks. It sucks. It does. It sucks that we're having to deal with this. I'll say that. Okay? But I'm going to hush for now. I've got just a little bit of time before I go live here on YouTube with our midweek chat and check-in. So I'm going to go kind of wash my face, freshen up a little bit, calm down. Calm down. I hope this video made sense. Y'all, I just speak what's laid on my heart. And sometimes I go off into different directions and I never get back to the straight path that I was on before. And I'm sorry that I am not a public speaker. I don't have notes. I don't write out what I'm going to say before. I don't have a script in front of me. I just speak from the heart, okay? And sometimes it makes sense, and sometimes, well, it just don't, okay? It just don't. And I watch a video back, and it's like, ooh, yeah. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for supporting our little channel. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Comment below, because y'all, that helps us build our little channel, helps us build our little community. It puts these videos out there, because if anything I have learned since sharing these videos, it's that there are millions of us out there, okay? Millions. And we are only a tiny little corner of all this right now. There are more moms and dads out there that need to hear some of this. They need to see your comments, okay? How you got through, because this is not a cookie cutter situation. What worked for me might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for me. They need to see these different ways, okay? How we're handling things, how we're dealing with all of this, how we're doing at the point, because we're not all on the same area of the path in this situation. Some of us are here, some of us are here, some of us are here, some are in between, okay? We're in all different sections. Some of us have been dealing with this for 30 plus years, some for, like me, 14, 15 years. Some are brand new to this, and y'all, they're hurting. They're hurting, okay? And their grief has just started. Lord have mercy. Anyway, much love to each and every one of you guys. Y'all, I'm trying here, okay? I am trying. I am trying to put out my feelings, and sometimes they get all jumbled up, okay? They do. But much love to each and every one of y'all, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.